Now that we have two palaces behind us, we can actually make our way directly to the next palace, which is the Island Palace. If you haven't been following along with the walkthrough and you haven't gone to Death Mountain yet, you're going to need to do that right now because we need the hammer in order to break some of the roadblocks that block our way. But otherwise, we can head straight to the next palace. If you recall, when we were in the harbor town of Mido, we talked to one of the characters who was in one of the houses, and he told us to speak to Heir of Ruto. And he's referring to the character Heir and in the town of Ruto. If you actually go and speak with Heir at Ruto, he says, south of King's Tomb in Mido is a tunnel. And this is basically a secret that is in the overworld that we're going to need to use in order to get to the next palace. And King's Tomb is in the center of the graveyard, which is just west of the town of Mido. So we want to make our way that way. This is the block we need to break, and just head south and you'll notice that King's Tomb is the lone one in the middle. There's actually a secret area here. If you head down 4 and left 2 from King's Tomb, you'll hit a side sequence that has a red magic jar. So if you need extra magic, you can do that. But you want to avoid enemies here. Just walk directly south from King's Tomb and you fall through a little secret. There's a bunch of louders on the ground here. And now that we have the downward thrust, these guys are actually kind of fun to defeat. You'll notice there's this huge wall that you can jump. But now that we have the fairy spell, you should have gotten that from the harbor town of Mido, we can turn into a fairy and float across. And now we can just continue pressing on in this cave. There's a few of these or one of them at least, those mews on the ground. There's also some louders and another Goria. Just get rid of them as we have and exit the cave. And now here we are on this little island and just enter to the Island Palace. There's a cool secret right at the beginning. You can slash at this first statue here, and this makes a red iron knuckle appear, or it makes a magic jar, a red magic jar appear. And you can just keep, you can like kill the red iron knuckle, leave the screen, re-enter the screen, and now you can slash the statue again. And sometimes it'll be a red magic jar, and sometimes it will be a red iron knuckle. This is a great way to level up if you aren't at what I'm currently at 4, 5, and 6 in terms of my 3 levels, so you can spend a lot of time leveling up right there. Here's another new enemy, and it's known as a Doom Knocker. And this is, it sort of resembles, I suppose, like the Mace Throwers in a way. And actually the translation of the name is actually a Guma as well, or a Hell Guma or so. But just jump over it, use the downward thrust, and also kill, that was an armored Stalfos, which is very similar to a regular Stalfos. Just continue to the right. Oh great, we have some more annoying Tinsuits. Amazing. And Muse. I mean, does this screen really get any more annoying than this? Just continue along, and this is really annoying that there's like 3 Muse, and if you use the downward thrust you'll break the block, so you might actually fall. It's it looks simple, but it's very annoying in my opinion. Here we have an orange Moa just floating across the top, and we have blocks dropping. We can break these blocks because of the item we got, the glove we got in Medora Palace, so they shouldn't be much of a trouble, and we have more of these blocks now. You'll notice there's a key at the bottom. Link can just break through the blocks to get the key, and now continue to the right. Here we have another Doom Knocker. This one there's a cool strategy you can use to defeat this one. Because it's on a higher ledge, you can actually, well, I sort of messed up there. I was trying to get on a lower, just one step lower than him, so his axes wouldn't hit me. But just jump on top of him, use the downward thrust. Downward thrust works well against him. So he could be difficult, but once you face more of them, you get more accustomed to him. I got the points back, and now I can continue further along to the right. There's a red iron knuckle here. You actually don't need to fight that one. You can just jump over onto the 3rd block. But I think these, at this point in the game, I think the red iron knuckles have become a lot easier. So I killed it anyway. I used the jump spell, but you really don't need to use the jump spell because this is, you can actually jump up 3 blocks, so to speak, without it. But it's much easier with it. And like I said, you don't need to kill that Iron Knuckle either, but it's just for some experience points, and actually took some damage, but I should still be okay. Here we have a red armored Stoffels, just kill it. And now we want to continue along to the right. I used my life spell because I was running a little low. And this is kind of cool. It's sort of like an outdoor area within the palace. Just there's a Moa at the top who will fly across the screen and drop flames. Just try to avoid it and defeat the Iron Knuckle. And I mean, who really leaves keys just sitting on blocks on the outside of palaces? I guess Ganon's minions, or I don't know. Return back to the elevator and head down, and we want to use the key we just got on the locked door. There's a few bots here, and there's some of these annoying, endless, like wolf heads. You can just, slash away at them. You can use your downward thrust, but if you jump, then they'll start appearing at a higher level, which makes it kind of annoying. But eventually get by. Continue to the right. There's a few more bots. You get a small key, and there's a red Iron Knuckle, so defeat it. Hey, drop the magic jar, which is really good because I was running really low on health and magic. So now I'm almost filled with life, and I got half my magic back. Just continue pressing along. Be careful with these jumps. You don't want to get hit by a bot and then fall into lava. It's a very bad way to die. This screen could be rather difficult, so I suggest using your shield spell if you have enough magic. I haven't used it yet, but I will be doing so shortly. Here we have a blue Iron Knuckle, and these are some of the toughest enemies in the game to this point because they actually toss their sword, unlike the orange ones and red ones who just swing their sword. So as you can see, it takes a lot of hand-eye coordination, and you can still use the jump strike attack, but it's a little more difficult this time. It takes a lot of practice, and these guys will beat you up a lot before you get used to them. Just eventually keep striking at them, jump at them, and your reward is the raft right behind. And the raft will allow you to cross the ocean to the east side of Hyrule, and we will be doing that after we complete the Island Palace. And as you can tell, these guys are very challenging. I'm taking a lot of hits, and it's quite an epic battle, especially if you only have a level 4 sword. But you'll eventually get him, and that'll do it for this portion of this chapter. Join me for the rest of the palace.